78 MCFB Live Thursday night. If you're new to joining us, welcome to the club. Very special guest tonight, Jen Guido, Legacy Salon Spa, Round Lake, Illinois. First of all, let's give it up for Jen. She's a social media ninja. She's a Bali Lama. She's a planning ninja. And tonight, one of the ideas we want to have a conversation with her about is what I'm going to call 20 days of maxing your pay. I gave you a little taste of her last week. Christina, I don't know if you were joining us last week in Lee, but I was giving you a few of her best practices. Well, I got her on the show tonight to talk to us about who she is and what makes her so special. Let me just give you a little bit of a rundown on her. She's only 20 years old, and she's, I think, a prodigy of Paige Cruz, who was on the show a few weeks ago, and she's a level 3. And Jen graduated from cosmetology school in 2015, started as an intern, which led to associate at Legacy. They actually went in Legacy Salon and did a little program in her school, and she got inspired. Been at Legacy since 18, right out of school. And when you really kind of look at her first real year was in 2016, 18 at the time, 19, $45,000. Not bad for a 18, 19. This year, she's at 20 years old. She's a couple of months or so before 21, but she's projected to do $70,000. At 20 years old, I think that's big boom boom, you guys. Emily Clement, good to see you. Kelly Boyle, Natalie, I know she really is on fire. Average ticket is $75, 25 guests a week. Haircut at 38, rebook 81%, RTS 25%, and trending about 150 referrals this year. So she is firing on, I thought what we'd do, I want her to come and I'm going to get her on FaceTime, and I'm hoping that, cross your fingers that the Wi-Fi gods are working tonight. I'm going to have her tell a little bit about her story, and then there's two parts, two sets of best practices. I want her to share her planning strategies. Lori Green, I know that girl is on fire. And once she does her planning practices, she's got some unique practices in so much as how she takes pictures. She's just as much of a photographer as she is a hairdresser. So without any further ado, let me see if I can get her on the horn now. There she is. Give it up for Miss Jen. Oh, thank you for doing this for us this afternoon, Jen. My conversations with you on the phone before, and the interview itself was so extraordinary, I wanted to do this recording because I want the world to see and hear everything that I see and hear when I chatted with you before. I just think your story is extraordinary. So welcome. Thanks for doing this for us.
Thank you.
Listen, let's get right into your story. Because your story is extraordinary. I wanted you to tell our viewers a little bit about ever since your part of your story is ever since you were growing up. It was your aspiration to do this, and how did you get from like high school to hair school?
So, ever since I was young, my mom would always take me along to something called America's Beauty Show, which was it still is, a huge show in Chicago where you could see everything: hair, makeup, nails, skin, and I instantly fell in love with everything, just because I could tell that it's a huge industry that's always changing. But then from there, my high school offered a program called Tech Campus, where I could actually leave halfway through the day and then go to beauty school. So I did that both years. It's a 2-year program, and when I graduated high school, I actually had my high school diploma and my cosmetology license.
So you literally went to hair school while you were going to high school. So when you graduate, you've got kind of sort of 2 diplomas.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want the viewers to know is your mother's a hairdresser. So, and I know your mother from many moons ago. She would come to my classes, so it was really cool to watch you take her footsteps.
Of course. She's a huge for me.
Now, how did you? What I know that you decided that that when you're in hair school now, and things are going well for you, and then you have this visit from somebody from Legacy, and that sounded like a definable moment for you. Tell the audience what that's about.
So, I think in my second year of beauty school is when Legacy came, and they didn't come for a career fair. I mean, they did, but by then I was already hooked on a Legacy. They came for a tutorial on how to do an updo, and then just from there was three girls. It was Pam, Paige, and I think someone who isn't with the salon anymore. But they all had this fantastic energy. They were all so beautiful, so happy, and I could tell that instantly it was a perfect fit. They talked about their salon, they talked about the associate program summit, and just how fast you can grow with it, and I was automatically hooked and just wanting everything that they had.
Just curious, where were you in number of hours? Was that on the front end of your journey, halfway to, or the back end?
I would say a little past midway, so not quite towards the back end, but it was around maybe 3.
Right. And so you now know that when you're done with school, Legacy, which is a Summit Salon, is where you're going to be, because you intuitively know that I've got the highest probability to get off to the fastest start, and maybe get to places that I might not get to if I didn't take the opportunity to work there.
Of course, yeah. I started actually with Legacy at that point. I think a couple weeks later, I went in and started my internship with them just to get more hours faster so I could graduate.
Nice.
And then I started my associate program. So
I didn't have that part, that you were actually an intern there before you graduate, so your on-ramp was really, really smooth.
Yes.
And then so you start there, and I think you started as an associate, did you not?
Yes. I did my internship for around 2 months, and then after that, they offered me an associate position, so I took it immediately.
So how instrumental do you think, in retrospect, looking back, how important was it on-ramping into a level from the associate program? How important would that be in your mind's eye? Because there's a lot of people that aren't sure that they want to go through the associate program.
I honestly don't think I would be half as successful or confident or strong in my career as I am without it. I would just be so behind. I don't think I would have grown nearly as fast, not even halfway as fast. And it's absolutely essential for me. I
am so happy you said that, because I think the associate program is to a graduate from a hair school what getting a master's degree would be, if you finished a 4-year college program and went to, 2 more years. And a lot of people don't see it that way. My hunch, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that if somebody would go through the associate program, they're probably going to make $5,000 to $10,000 more per year in the 30 years of their career than they would if they went right out of hair school and onto the floor.
I think you're correct, and even maybe undersaying it. I think they can make so much more than even just 5,000. I think it makes people just skyrocket. It's amazing.
Oh well, I mean, I believe you're finishing your second full year at Legacy, and you're trending somewhere around $70,000. So you just do the math. I mean, if somebody is really on their game in the salon after an associate program, they're probably in their second year going to be hanging out at 45 or 50. You're well beyond that. So you're like, an associate graduate on steroids.
Yes, you could say that. Yeah.
So what is it? Now you're 2 years in. What's it like now? As you look back in retrospect, what are you able to do now with your life, because of your financial life has been revolutionized, your personal, your professional life? In a nutshell, how is that different? What are you doing now that you couldn't do before?
I think honestly, the sky's the limit. I don't really have to limit myself to things that I want. I'm still able to save money, but get like the shirt I want or get all the lipsticks I want. I can go on vacations. I could do all sorts of things that I never thought I would have been able to so young. I just recently got a new car, a bigger apartment, so I'm really able to just grow up a lot faster than I thought I was going to, which is so.
Yeah, and I think in our initial call together when I was first meeting you, you said that your plans, getting out of school and beginning to work, you were going to need to live at home for a year or so more. And to your amazement and delight, it's like, no, I'm able to get out on my own and begin to, get my life a lot sooner. So that was like a mega surprise for you.
Oh yeah, I really thought I was going to be at home for a while just because it was like my mom and I, like best friends. I wanted to stay with her forever, and I mean, we still hang out plenty. But I thought I would definitely be there for at least a couple of years just because that's how a lot of people I know had it. And I just didn't imagine that I would be out so soon, and so.
I know, I hang out with you on social media. You're on my news feed. Your mother is on my news feed, and I see you guys interacting all the time. So you guys kind of remind me of BFFs as well as mother and daughter. So it's really cool.
We definitely are. We're so.
Well, so now before we get into your social media practices and your planning practices, which I want to get to, in a nutshell, you're at a place at 20 that many will never get to in a 30-year career. And so, having said that, there's a lot of people that are at a place that you were at 2 short years ago. And they're watching this and they're going, okay, this is like, it's almost unbelievable. Knowing what you know now, if you could say something to them that would inspire them, give them hope, empower them, so that they might be able to get to a place that you're at in a couple of years, in a nutshell, what would that be?
I think really what makes a huge difference is finding your muse and finding what really inspires you. So for me, social media inspires me, and I see how quick people can grow and how famous people can get and how talented they are, and just by social media. So I think once you can get yourself hooked on being so excited about your own work and wanting to share it with the world, I think then everything else just plays its own song for you.
Which brings us to this whole idea of you have, I think, out of all the people that I've interviewed, an extraordinary program that you've kind of self-incubated and developed, not only with how you're using social media, but how you're using the planner, how you've tied the planner and social in together. So I wanted to really get you talking about that, and beginning with I've even come to call it, how Jen plans her day for Magic Pay, and how you're looking out ahead of time, which is really, really different. In a nutshell, tell us what that is.
So what I do is during some downtime or even making time for it, I have my planner, my Summit planner, and it's pretty much just like a huge calendar for people that don't really know what that is. And I write out my whole next coming month of the days that I'll be in the salon, who's going to be on it, what they've gotten done before, what we talked about last time, so that I don't sound completely stupid if I forgot I mentioned I wanted them to go blonde or something. And even offerings. And then with that as well, it lets me see opportunities that I have. So times that I can either add on to that person, maybe give them a manicure or something, or that I can fill with a social media referral.
And that's big. I was just out. I didn't tell you this, Jen, but I was out last weekend doing a class. Big class. A couple hundred people. Were in a hotel, and I was actually showing the group your planner and how you look out, and the highlighting of the planner, and I did a little Facebook Live on this earlier where you'll actually look at your windows of time, and depending on is there not a guest on the front end versus is there a bigger window with no guest on either side, and how many days out where pink is that's your color for I'm going to think about what might be another service that I can add on to or suggest versus, no, this window of time I'm going to see through my social media best practices. Can I either fill that with a recaptured repeat or better yet, a high ticket referral? I mean, that to me is phenomenal, and I know that we'll be putting some of those slides in as we edit this interview as well.
That's awesome. I'm so happy you could share that with people too, because honestly, it's helped me so much ever since I started doing that. I started really like pre-planning more than just a week out. When I was jumping from a level 1 to a level 2, and just because I wanted to find like what else was missing and how I could grow even faster, just because I really wanted that jump. I really wanted to just grow.
Right. I've interviewed, many people and helped many people on the planner. And I think, first of all, a lot of stylists don't use it because, for whatever reasons, they don't get what you see. And I think the longest term somebody would ever look out is, a couple of days or so, maybe a week. And you're going, no, I will literally fill out 20 pages. It's like I'm 4 weeks ahead looking for where my window's at so that I can start working today on my downtime to fill those windows so I have less windows to concern myself about when all of a sudden 2-3 days from now it's real time. It's in my face. It's like now. Huge.
Exactly.
All right, so tell us a little bit about social media. For number one, I know that you use an iPhone. What model do you use?
And I have an iPhone 7 right now.
And you also have a MacBook Pro laptop, and you use a camera as well, a Canon Rebel T5i camera. What's that about? And because most people would just use their mobile.
So with that, I found, I really wanted to get shared. I wanted to be found by bigger people like Redkin's page and CMVS page and everything. So I did a lot of stalking, and I found that the quality on a lot of the pictures that they were taking were like high and top-notch quality. So then I found that I wanted to buy a camera so I can even make better video tutorials for my guests and things like that, and just take the best of the best pictures, because they deserve it for one. They're spending a lot of money with me, they're growing a relationship with me, but just so that my social media page can look really crisp and clean, it looks completely different versus an iPhone picture, which with the ring light that I know I've talked to you about, that helps an iPhone picture if I do forget it or if my camera's dead, but my camera makes, you don't even need to edit it anymore. It's just
so you're every bit of a photographer as you are a hairdresser. Yesterday I was, tried to get a hold of you because we needed to do a little bit of prep, and you were in Chicago doing a photo shoot. So, how cool is that?
It was so much.
All right, so I want to bring us to, and we'll be showing some of your pages in this interview as well. You use Instagram, a business page on Instagram. You have a business page on Facebook. The last time I looked, you had on Instagram 500 or so following you, and on Facebook you had 650. And the majority of the clients that you serve in a lot of different ways, for all intents and purposes, they are part of that following, which is really, really unique.
Yeah, definitely. With that, I didn't want, as much as I would love to inspire other stylists and things, I made sure that every guest who was being photographed knew where they could find their picture. And I just told them, just straight up, you should follow my Instagram so that you can see it, because I don't post them immediately. I post one person per day. So I let them know you can expect to see it on this page in 5 days from now, or however many days it is. But I always see them follow me instantly. So it's nice to know that they can be inspired by my work too, and even show me my own work as a reference photo on their next visit, instead of just some random picture on Pinterest.
Right, and prepping for the interview, also, what was interesting is you post as much or more on Facebook. I think you were telling me, 12, 13, 14, 15 times a week, you'll be posting your content on Facebook, and 6, 7 times a week you're posting on. I beg your pardon. 15 or so times a week you're posting on Instagram, and 7 times a week you're posting on Facebook.
Yes, exactly.
And you're taking photographs of almost all of your guests.
Mm-hmm.
So that photography, a guest having their picture taken in your chair is it's a value-added experience. It's almost a gift with purchase. That's one more thing that makes you different, gives you a point of difference from a lot of other people in the same business. Would you say that's true?
Oh, definitely. They expect it. They always do it. Like I told you before, they even will dress up more and do their makeup and even come with their hair styled in case they have a before picture, just because they know and they expect their picture to be taken.
So the photography, having your picture taken as Jen's client, Jen's guest, that's become part of your brand. That's your chairside manner. That's part of the extraordinary experience that your guest gets. It's almost like glamour shots, right? At the end, how many of your guests now are coming in not only expecting it, but prepared for it? It's like, I know that after my service, I'm going to have just an extraordinary picture taken. So they get like set for that.
Oh, I would say most of them. I remember when I first started, it was almost frustrating because everyone would come in like their old beat up tie-dye shirt or like their boyfriend or husband's like ginormous stained t-shirt and like just no makeup on or anything, which is fine. No one needs to wear makeup. I could put it on for them or something. But now like people are even wearing heels, which isn't photographed, to their appointments. They're wearing like pretty necklaces and they have their makeup done and they have lashes on just because they want to look good in the picture.
Wow.
And they want facing picture.
I really am hoping that our guest really heard that, because your guest now is modifying their behavior. They used to come in chilled out, and it's like, no, this is like a big deal. So what you're doing is truly innovative because it's changing the behavior, it's changing the persona of your guest coming in. This day is way more special than it would be for the same person going into your traditional salon. And I really want to make sure that the viewer gets that. Now, when you're taking pictures of a guest, I should say a set of pictures, typically how many pictures would you take on a particular guest for your own file?
I usually take around 10 just because I like to settle on 3 of them. And you never know, like there might be a hair out of place or something in the picture that you didn't want. So I always make sure I'm like fully prepared and have enough so that I can filter them out. So usually 10 is like a safe.
Nice. And you're using a very high quality ring light. I think you were telling me, and I actually bought the one you told me you were using. It's off the chart. Really? Oh yeah, I wanted to have it because we're now teaching in our training hairdressers how to use ring lights when they're photographing. So go ahead and tell the group what brand you use.
It's called Diva Ring Light, and mine is the Supernova.
Right, wonderful. Now, that's step 1. Step 2, then, you're even giving your guest a few minutes alone so that they can kind of, like polish up, for their 10 pictures, huh?
Exactly. I mean, they know me, they know I love selfies, and I know that I want them to take selfies, so I encourage it. I always leave them alone, and I tell them, I'm like, this is where you're going to get the best selfies ever, so I'm just going to leave you because it's awkward if I'm watching selfies.
I love it.
I want you to take a bunch so that you can post them and tag them.
So in addition to the 10 pictures you're taking on your camera, you're saying this is your opportunity to take lots of selfies, don't feel, self-conscious at all, and then so that you can begin to post these pictures on your own page and then tag me so that I can really share that experience with you as well, which is like freaking brilliant.
Exactly. And while they're taking their selfies alone, it gives me time to organize their work ticket and the retail area and the front desk support team member, just so that we can have like a successful checkout too.
So I wanted to spend, because that was your steps in it, and then there's another set where you've got a step where you will compliment the guest on how well they look, and then ask them permission to take an after shot at the end, and sometimes you'll do that early on in the visit. And then I think, well, I had your script. I'm so excited. Do you mind if we take pictures after we're done? Talk a little bit about when you do that and what is your intention as you say that.
So really, whenever my guest sits in my chair and we agree on a look, or they listen to me tell them what I would like to do, or however we decide what is going to happen, I mean, I am already truly excited. Like, it's no front at all. I tell them how excited I am. I usually say, I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to have brown hair, or whatever the look is. And then I just right away ask them, I'm going to want to put this on my social media page. Do you mind if I take a picture afterwards when we're done, just so that I can post it and share it with you? And I always say yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, your presentation is, it's almost like the overwhelming majority of guests would see that as a supreme opportunity. Now, as we're coming to the back end of the interview, I know you do something else as well. You will take your pictures, and at the very end, you have a particular app. I think it's, is it Facetune, and where you'll really refine it so that the pictures pop. Talk a little bit about what that is and what your intention is when you're using that app.
So I have the app called Facetune. I think it's like $4 on the App Store, but how that works is it really allows me to really enhance the photo quality, whether that means just blurring out the background so that something pops, or I can even like edit out a zit or something if the guest is self-conscious and doesn't want like their face taken or something. I can edit out little things like that. Or I can even like enhance details into the hair. If I wanted like a specific piece to pop, I can definitely, it's called details. You can just run the details part over it, and it helps make that piece pop. So it really helps enhance what I want to be seen on my social media page, so that it's not just a simple picture.
So listen, we're running out of time, and we're going to be embedding your Instagram pages and your Facebook pages, because I'm sure the viewer really are going to want to follow you. You really are a vision of what's possible. And again, as I really qualified you before our interview, you're an extraordinary hairdresser, just a great human being. I loved hanging out with you, and I just think where you're at 20. Is indicative that you're going to I just have this funny feeling you're going to be in places that few people get to. So I want to, on behalf of Summit Salon Business Center, I want to thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time today, and it was really a great interview.
Thank you so much, Michael. That means so much to me, and thank you for having me.
Well, let's give it up one more time for Miss. Phenomenal part about her ride is that she plans every day. She uses the planner, and she plans 20 days out. So she's looking not just at today and tomorrow and this week, because she wants to get enough ahead of the game to know how many of my windows of time can I fill with social media, so that when my days come up and they're in my face, I don't have to concern myself as much with trying to sell an add-on to a guest that's in my book that day. That my days are filled because I use social media to make them fill. I think that's why she's making big boom boom. And so her days, she'll look at a day, and she'll actually see where her windows are and how she can fill them. Now, what I wanted to do is I really wanted to give you the benefit of taking you to her Facebook page. It's absolutely look at this work, my friends. So those are all $150 to $200, and it goes on. I mean, I'm scrolling on and on and on. She's got a high quality camera. She's really got her lighting. Everything is clean. I can hit a couple of pictures and actually show you some of the close-up work. She is extraordinary at her braiding. She's I mean, some of the color work. I mean, look at this. It is 20 years old. My God. I mean, it's like, it's off the freaking charts. So these are photographs that, I mean, the colors here are just stunning. So this is at 20 years old, okay? And as she's, sending them to her clients and they're posting, it's no wonder why she's getting $150 to $200, 150 to 200 referrals a year. So she is, in a nutshell, off the charts. So I really want you to give it up for her one more time, because now, having said all that, let me see if my time, we're running a little bit over. So what I'm going to do is, basically, next week, I decided that we're going to interview a student that's in her last couple of hours at the Summit Salon Academy, Maddie Ray, and she's like knocking it's out of the park. She's already got a full clientele. She hasn't even graduated from cosmetology school yet. So she's at a level in school that she set, because they don't have levels. They had to almost like create a level for her. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is that we're continuing to work on the social media bootcamp program on becoming a ninja. So stay close to me on that, because this is going to be a very big part of where we're going in 2018. And here will be the people that will be teachers, all of the ninjas, right? The Jen Guidos, the Paige Cruzes, the Amanda Gilsons, the Natalie Hanlons, the Jamie Witterholds, the Jane Lewises, all of the ninjas that we're interviewing, we're in some way, shape, or form, we want to make them part of helping you helping you to become the ninja that they are. So I hope that you stay close to us on that. If you're new to our program, you can follow us on Facebook.com/Michael Cole OTT. You can also follow the work on Instagram, Michael Cole BGTD, as in, boom goes the dynamite. I hope that you get on SummitSalon.com and really hit a slash and get on our products to start using our stuff, that like our planner, that's Jen's favorite tool, as well as our text. We've got apps for you to download. If you hit SummitSalon.com/MC Live, all of our episodes before tonight, this is the 78th episode, and we will continue to do that. And you can, through this, watch them in sequence from the newest down to the most traditional. So I hope you take us up on that as well. We've got a number of apps that we're using now that you can go to various web pages, SummitSalon.com/Magic Day, /Magic Payday. So, I want to cut right to the chase, and I want to really thank all of our sponsors, Summit Salon Business Center, L'Oreal PPD, and all of their brands. I just love you guys because of all the work and all the ways that you're supporting us.